That's a fun one. That's a fun one.
La Fantasque.
Yeah, Fantasque. I think it's where the French line really starts coming into their own.
Absolutely.
I think it's the right transition between the garbage tier 7 and then the interesting last ones. I still have to lose a battle with it. So I think it's very good at executing the flanking, sneaky playstyle. It's very good at that. And it's not even edited. I have it on my second account, actually.
How far are we going with that?
But I'm not sure I would put it in competitive, because getting in a cap with it will get you killed. So you really depend on your team for these ships. I cannot be as influential with this as I would be, for example, with a Benson.
Yep.
I can be an asshole. I can surprise people. I can really play map awareness, if you see what I mean.
Yep.
And execute very well on that, because you can reach 50 knots with it, something like that, if you have all the gimmicks.
Oh, yeah.
But in the end, when it comes down to can you get into that middle ring on epicenter, the answer is no for me. So voilà.
Yeah, I'd put it
Probably,
in. To me, it's playable the niche, but the thing is, it's a flanker.
It's the same niche as the Champagne, you know. It's fun, it's nice to play, but yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a video game. It's meant to be fun, and this thing is brilliant for that. It's just if you're hardcore competitive, then it's not the ship for you. So.
Yeah, you need your team because you are a flanker, but you are a fox in the henhouse. You are going in within 2-3 minutes. You're going to be behind the enemy lines, pissing off everyone, and it just keeps on getting better from there. But it's still it's tier 8 is still so competitive. So it's just some games you're not going to help your team. So, oh, the Lenin.
Oh, the Lenin. Oh la la, I love it. I love that thing. You are going to put there? Oh my god, no. Oh, I love it.
Really? You're the first person that I've ever heard say that.
Oh no. It has a lot of things going for it, actually. So first of all, I've tested it accuracy-wise. It's comparable with the others 406 at tier 8. So that's number one, and it gets precise info when you need it. So that's number one. Damage per shell is the highest. So you're going to smack anything in front of you, even the Bismarcks, etc. The maneuverability, it's not great, but it's not bad either. And if you find an island, then good luck taking it out of its position. So the secondaries are good as well. It doesn't get set on fire as much as the other battleships. It's full of qualities, but it comes with a bad reputation, because someone said 3 years ago that it was not accurate. But when I tested it, there's no difference. So it still hits quite a lot of things very easily. And yeah, I mean, of course, if you shoot it at 13 kilometers. So is it the most interesting playstyle? Maybe not, but for me, I enjoy it, and it's beautiful with its white. Don't know what the name is, Glorious Revolution camo or something like that. So it's really beautiful.
No.
But
so
it's also quite tanky, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
it's quite tanky. Yeah. So for me, honestly, and especially if we compare it with the other Russian battleship at the tier, for me, I put it not in the meta. That's because that's not the case, but somewhere between competitive and niche. What's holding it down for me? It's the speed. So it's the speed. It's pretty average. And it really feels like a brick when you're driving it. But so getting into those positions, which you can do very easily with Richie, you cannot do it with Lenin, and you will often suffer to get there in the first place. But
I'll have to revisit it.
Honestly, it's got a bad reputation, and indeed the first 10 battles I play with it, I ask myself like, why did I buy it? And then I replayed it, tried to find a way to make it work, and it's one of my safest tier 8s, to be honest. I really, one of the few battleships I still play. It's full of qualities. It's just that you have to how would you say it? It's less good at executing than Richie. Richie can get up front, in the face of the enemy team very easily at the beginning of the battle. Lenin cannot. It's a bit like Nelson, Nelson will also struggle to get into position. Once you're there, you can have fun, but good luck getting there in the first place. Lenin is a bit more efficient, but it's still a bit complicated. So I enjoy it. So not Dear God Why, because that's where I would put another ship of the Russian line.
Okay.
But Lenin, yeah. No, actually, protection is very good. It's very survivable. I'm looking at the stats, by the way. So
yes, for me,
DPM,
I don't know. Interesting. I'm gonna have to
turret
revisit it
traverse is
now.
at 6 degrees, by the way, so it's also pretty easy for that. Secondary 16 degrees turret traverse, pretty decent. 152mm guns, got auto secondaries. The A is garbage, but you don't set on fire nearly as often as the other ships. It actually doesn't have any superstructure if you look at it. So superstructure, it's a big factor in how often you get set on fire. And it doesn't have any, so it's not that easy to annoy for a CV. Let me put it this way.
Man, have we been sleeping on the Lenin then? Damn. Alright, I'm gonna have to...
Yeah, well, just find an island near you.
It's almost
Let those three
Marseille
turrets
style.
come out,
Yeah.
punch people in the face because you see the damage those shells deal, it's absolutely huge. And you have to get mid-range to make it work. That's the thing. If you play it like 13 kilometers from the front line, it's not going to function very well. So that's the challenge, is to get it into the right range. Voilà.
Okay, I'm gonna probably rig mine up and play it. Hey,
Try it again, yes.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even...
Alors.
Oh, okay, now can I put this in Dear God Why?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
And it's actually the first friendship where the French name completely matches the English version of it. So it's really terrible, le terrible.
Le terrible.
I don't know where to start. I think it's if you are to describe it, it's a Fantasque with worse concealment.
And a sonar.
Worse maneuverability. And a sonar for something that's not meant to get anywhere near enemy DDs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why? That's a real Dear God Why. That's a real Dear God Why. And it's this one is super CV food, so it's really It cannot turn it. It cannot decelerate. It's just you see it. Just aim a little bit forward. It's probably speeding very fast, but so yeah.
Yeah, I think during the premiums review, Hiromi and I, we just broke down because we were just like, why the crap did they give this sonar? Who in their mind thought that was a buff? It's like, no.
No, the attributes don't really match well together. So no.
Lexington.
Competitive as well. It's a CV.
Yeah, it's CV. Yeah, that's
probably the easiest to play because unlike the Indomitable, you cannot deplane it.
Yep.
It's just such a bit hunger. It will be splitting plane until the end of the game. It's free as well, so you don't need the historical camo. So just roll with it. It's fine. Only have 2 squadrons to manage, so fine.
And I think it has a Halloween camo, so it can look cool. And sometimes Halloween camos can be free. So.
Yeah, it's quite nice actually. Yeah, so you can get a camo for free as well during an event. Yeah.
Well, Nick, we're getting close. We're getting close
because we've already talked about a lot of black ships on these. Lightning.
Yep.
For me, it's a competitive ship. It's got very good torpedoes, DPM. The burst damage is low, but that's the gimmick of the British line. The guns are very good. The DPM, it's not that great, but you're actually hitting your targets with it. So it's kind of accurate. You've got the smokes. You got, I think, 3 or 4 get out of jail for free cards, something like that. You get sonar, so that's the right toolkit to be in a cap, to be honest. If you're fine with the single torpedoes, that's the whole thing. If you can manage that, it's just more of it. If you cannot, that can get a bit annoying quite rapidly. But I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it a lot. I think it's just a solid all-rounder. You get A as well. Okay, you're not going to scare a Shokaku, but you know. But you're CV proof. You're super maneuverable, so you're CV proof. So yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of time it's because you have DFA. As much as it doesn't really have great AA, the thing is, because you are so nimble, the CV sometimes stays around in your area long enough where your AA kind of does something. So it's there. I wouldn't say it's better than Black Lightning. Black Lightning is definitely more high competitive, low meta.
For me, Black Lightning is the better version, and I can put the legendary commander on it as well. So without sacrificing anything. So yeah. No, I agree.
Does it make us want to move the Black Lightning out to meta?
That was my take on it. Yes.
Okay, I'll agree. Okay.
We don't have too many DDs up there, huh? We only have the Cossack, I think. No.
Yeah, we just have the Cossack. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a bit DDs up there.
We'll move it back. We'll move it up and like that. Low Yang.
For me, it's a better Benson, to be honest. For me, it's a better Benson because you trade your AA, which is not super useful, for a sonar, which is useful. So you still get the crappy guns, but you retain the good alpha of the torpedoes. It's still a pretty big alpha strike for torpedoes. And it remains maneuverable. It remains every bit as agile as the Benson. So yeah, it's a solid package, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Low Yang, it's just good. I don't know. It doesn't really ever home. It's just good. But I think we can Mainz. I don't know how to say this ever, but either way, I'm just going right in the middle. This is the best German cruiser. It's so good.
I would have put there before the nerf, because that thing was definitely nerfed at some point. And when it was released, you were full penning West Virginias at max range, so with that thing. And then and it was incredibly easy to get big calibers and high damage game. Now it's a bit less easy, but it's still a very capable ship. I just wouldn't put it in the meta, mainly because you kind of need a dedicated commander for it as well. So it's kind of its own skill set for the German line, so it's a bit annoying. And it's still a light cruiser with the skin of a heavy cruiser. So if you make one bad move, then you're going to pay for it. But it's a very good ship, much better than Hyper, Eugen, and all the others. So yeah.
I'll agree. It has kind of aged. It has. Okay. Yeah, definitely high competitive low meta.
I'm pretty sure it was nerfed at some point, because when I look at my old footage of it, and I had quite a lot of old footage with it, it was incredibly powerful. It was just you just didn't need to aim, just fire at the ship and watch the damage.
That was true. It used to be.
Yeah, the accuracy, it's ridiculous on that thing. Yeah? I think it's the best vertical dispersion in the game, every single ship in the game. So it's just incredibly accurate as well. So yeah, it's a solid package. Yeah.
Massachussetts. I'm gonna put this right in a niche because it's it's good guns, but secondary focused American BB. Sometimes it's gonna work, sometimes not.
It's very easy to counter. If you sail auto secondaries, if you sail right into them, they will never hit you. If you sail parallel, then you're dead. But if you sail right into them, it's just yeah. The thing is, they brand it as a harder hitting North Carolina, which it is. It does hit a bit harder, but they compensate it by giving it a lower accuracy. So the DPM is exactly the same. And I would say if you have the Alabama, there's no reason to play it in the first place. So it's not bad, but I wouldn't spend any money on it. And the auto secondaries, if you meet a DD player that knows what he's doing, it's not going to end up very well for you. So yeah.
And I still have fun in it. So if you want to have that, that's
niche is fine. Niche is fine. Yeah.
Maya.
I'll let you put it.
Niche. So it is a AA focused Takao class. The one thing that I will say, because it's Black Takao is best Takao, that's just basically pure plain simple. This is the Takao that you play with if you are playing in a group, because then you add a little bit more support than just being the regular Takao. Or even Mogami. It works a lot better in teams because you have that long range AA. But where are you thinking? Because you seem to be.
Oh yeah, I would have put it in Dear God Why, to be honest, because it's a Takao that's missing a turret.
Yeah, but that turret is always on the wrong damn side. So are you really using it? Really?
I've used it, and I wonder if it was the ship of me, because they call it the king of floods and fires and floods, but the thing is, it's worse than the Takao on every single aspect. So...
Oh yeah, no, they market that ship wrong. They market that ship wrong.
It gets the better AA, that's certain, but you're still going to get whacked by CVs, and
what it's really good for, though, is if you pair it with something else, because it has insanely good long-range AA. So it's more about being next to someone else. If you pair this with, per se, a DZP, or you pair it with something else, you all of a sudden, you're long-range. They don't even land.
Oh, but I mean, I'm just comparing it with the Takao, and indeed, HE DPM Takao 38,000, that thing 31,000. So yeah, it's... fires per minute, it's even lower than a Belfast. The torpedoes, it's the same performance, so that I agree. But you're essentially missing a turret, and you get what? Marginally better A. I mean, your A large caliber, it's 170.
I've always thought that's pretty good. Maybe I haven't played it in a while.
But yeah, it's still fairly average for tier 8. So the small caliber, it's good, 237, but 170, to put things in perspective, that's worse than the Tallinn.
Maybe
and that's comparable with the Hipper. That's actually worse than the Hipper. So yeah.
Okay. You got me. Okay.
Put it in playable, but honestly,
it's struggling. Okay.
Marketing, Wargaming is not marketing it correctly. It's not the king of fire and floods. It's just a Japanese ship with better AA, which by the way is worse than the other line that was released recently. So yeah. If you want a ship with good torpedoes, good fire chance, and good AA, I can think of another candidate, but...
I think I am overvaluing the Maya. You're making me rethink everything.
Yeah, take a look at it. Yeah, look at it.
Yeah, it's like the Lenin. God, really, I really want to look at that one again. I'm just like,
I'm going to check because I still had in mind that the A was a bit better than what I've just saw on my stats sheet. So maybe there's a mistake there. But I'm going to check it while we speak because I wouldn't think it was as good or bad as the Hipper. So. Which is not known for its A, so. But let me. I'm going to check it. Kutuzov is the next one. Huh?
Yep. Mikhail Kutuzov. I'm gonna put it. I want to put it in niche a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no real reason to put any money on the table for it. Huh? It's worse than Chappie in every possible way. I mean, you get a smoke, but you're just a big fat thing that fires every 5 seconds in a smoke screen. You're just gonna get deleted.
Yeah, it's a safer Chappie. That's what I like to say. It's got no button in like that. I enjoy it, but yeah, no, I can't. I can't bring it out of niche. I can't.
I'm confirming that the large caliber A of the Maya is garbage. So what
Okay, you know what? No, okay, never mind. Never mind. I'll just put it into your Maya. Yep. Okay.
But you get the A skill, so voilà. So that's probably why you get a better performance than the other way. But I mean, yeah. So put it in playable. It will be fine there.
Yeah, it is still a cow class, which has a lot of power to it. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mogami.
I'll put it in niche. I think it's a good ship. Overall, it's a good ship. It's got a very solid performance, but it struggles on certain map types. It's for me. It's if you want to know what feeling the Zao will be like, play the Mogami, because it's exactly the same playbook. It's just a lot of guns, forwards, backwards. Limited range, excellent torpedoes, and you have to convince the enemy team to follow you. Because you have to twerk if you use those torpedoes. You cannot use them going forward or even turning around. And it's very good at that. It's very good on open maps, but on confrontational maps, center control, epicenter, it's complicated. And if a CV wants you dead, you're dead.
Pretty much. So Mogami.
For me, it's a niche ship, very much making dependent, but...
For me, though, I'm not gonna lie, Shimimato is just better. like now that the Shimamoto is here, I used to be like, yeah, Mogami's niche. It's gonna work sometimes. You gotta kite people and everything like that. Shimamoto's got 360 degree turrets. So I'd argue with Dear God, why? You have a free version that has better everything on top of it. Yeah, the Mogami I think it's lower in the water. I think it is, so it's a little harder to hit. So I will agree with that. But it's just
I'm not sure it's harder to hit. I think it's more maneuverable, but it's a pretty big target. If Roma wants you dead, you're also going to suffer.
yeah.
But Dear God, why? No, because it's still an insane amount of it's still an insane damage potential. That thing, it's
That is true.
ridiculously
That is
high
true.
the damage potential. But I haven't played the Tech 3 line enough to be able to compare it with the Mogami. But that thing was my highest damage ship on my press account for quite some time. So
Interesting.
I actually bought it recently.
Nice.
But let me wait. Mogami.
Yeah. It does have good, but it's just now that the Shimamoto is out, I'm just like, oh wow.
Okay.
But that's just me. I think I can go with niche. Doesn't
Then,
mean bad.
whatever. Between niche and playable, then fine. Okay.
Yeah. We can just keep it there. With that, Monarch.
Monarch. Yeah, that's a very very strong ship. So for me, it's if I had to put one Tech 3 battleship in the meta, it would be this one. To be honest, if you're a free-to-play player, this is your meta battleship. It's as accurate as the Roma. It does get a much better HE. Doesn't get the precise aim, so that's the difference between the two. But its protection is decent, maneuverability is decent, AA is excellent. It's just a very very solid all-rounder. And it's for me, it's one of the most overlooked ship at tier 8. The only thing that sucks with it is the short range performance, but that's why you have to keep your rapid reload for those engagements. So
yeah, I will say though, a lot of people sleep on the AP. The AP of the entire HMS line at close range, that stuff chunks because it just got just enough pen that it almost always full pens at close range, and that just adds up.
But I agree. The thing is, these are AP ships fundamentally, and you have the trick with the British line is to know on which ships you have to use HE.
Yep.
So if you have a Bismarck on the other side of the map, then you have to use HE. But if it's Vladivostok, use your AP and just trash it. So it's the gimmick, is you have to know which targets you have to engage with, what kind of ammunition. So.
Yep. I'd say high competitive. I love it, but it's just when you look at all the ships above, it's hard to put it up there with it. But I agree, it is good.
It would be the only free one actually.
Only free one.
Because I think all the other ones are pay to win. So.
I'm gonna think about that in the back while we talk about the North Carolina.
Okay. It's not the ship I dream of playing when I wake up in the morning. Let me put it this way. It doesn't do anything wrong, but it doesn't do anything exciting either. So, yeah.
I'd say playable. It's just it's very forgettable. You're not gonna keep it.
Niche, so
and if you want, you go for the Black North Carolina or something like or the Alabama. There's just so many other options.
Wow.
Ochakov.
That's a tough one. Where would I put that thing? For me, it's interesting. It's an interesting ship. It's not a good ship. It's a decent ship because it's a maneuverable utilitarian Russian cruiser. But so it's less sonar, smoke, and radar. Is that it?
Yeah.
Because that's the holy trinity of DD fighting, and the maneuverability that goes with it. But what is letting it down, in my opinion, it's the 8 guns.
Yep, the guns.
When you have to slap a DD that's showing you a nice broadside, Chappie is going to be much better at executing this. It will be like trying to hit him with a nail gun. So that's my problem with it. So
it is pea shooters. This thing has like as much as it brings so much to the table. Dear God, why?
It's
you can't kill anything with it.
I think there are better nations and lines if you want that kind of. I mean, I don't see why you would be playing that thing in terms of Cleveland. Yeah, you get smokes, but I mean, okay.
And I bought this I bought this instead of buying the Yukon, and I really should have just bought the damn Yukon. So regret that. So regret that. Oh. Yeah, no, it's a support cruiser when there's better DDs that bring the support there in the tier alone. Like,
yeah, it's a bit weird.
yeah.
I mean, it's just
Odin.
Odin. Odin. Up there. I think it's one of the ships that suffered the most with the introduction of the Atlantico. If it wasn't for the Atlantico, I would put it in meta.
Yeah.
But voila.
It's still competitive. It's a better Scharnhorst for its tier. I do like it. It's a fun time.
It's a better Scharnhorst, yes. It's a tier 8 Scharnhorst. So it executes brilliantly on that, but if you have 2 Atleticos on the enemy team, then you might regret some of your life choices.
And then again, I think everyone below meta regrets their life choices if they run into 2 Atleticos, though. It's just, yeah. This is similar to, what was it? We put the Bismarck there.
Lexington is perfectly fine with the Atlantico being on the enemy team, so it's just brilliant at catching fire and flooding.
That's a CV. That's a CV. That's cheating. Ognevoy.
Ognevoy. I actually replayed it this morning because it had been 2 years or something like that. I remember it. I do not have a definitive opinion. I remember it was very well rounded when it came out.
Yeah.
And it didn't do anything wrong. I think the next one in the line is the Real King. But it's not a bad ship. I mean, it's a good DD. It doesn't do anything wrong. So.
Yeah, I put it in playable. It is a high playable. It's just good. It just doesn't do anything great either. It's got technically better guns than the Benson, but it's not saying much.
But it's got 4 of them, so
yeah.
No, I agree.
But keep on going because the Udaloy is fantastic. So
yes, stick with it.
Yeah, same thing. We're going to talk about another one that I would say is just it's kind of in the awkward tier right before greatness. So Oland.
I love the Oland, but it's a skill cannon. No smokes, and you have to be shooting all the time to be dealing some kind of damage. Because even if you manage to do it, you're not going to go very far. If they had given it better AA, it would have been interesting. But the thing is, it's not. Yeah, the torpedoes are excellent. You're firing them all the time, so that's good. So you're always busy with that thing. That's what I like about it. You're always doing something. So, but it's either you give it a better fire chance, so you have some kind of a tier 8 Haaland, or you give it better AA. But for the moment, it's very touchy and very complicated to play. I like it. I really like it. But yeah.
To me, I put it in niche because this is once again this is a DD class. You are no longer playing a DD, and let alone you're also no longer playing basically Blitz. You're playing an MMO, and I will say this almost every time I talk about these EU line because it is okay. Who's on cooldown? Who's off cooldown? And who you shoot at? You are playing the entire field. It is a blast. Oland definitely does need an AA buff, but then again, everything buff AA1. But no, the Oland is the start, just like the Ognevoy. Just one more, like Oster gets. Oh, Oster Yachtland is amazing, and then Holland just gets even better. It's just keep going. Yep. All right. Let's see. We really gotta book it. Orkan. It's somewhere between. For me, I would put it in niche, between competitive and niche. To be honest, I don't like it. I don't see why you would pick it instead of picking the Cossack. To be honest, it gets a lot of radar. I agree, but the torpedo damage is just so damn low that you could as well remove them. To be honest, so I'm doing well with it, but yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I understand why people pick it in competitive, but yeah. I think it was overvalued in competitive. I think it's overvalued.
I think it's overvalued as well. I think the Cossack is definitely the number 1 pick. And it's only got 2 smokes, so it's certainly not unkillable, that thing. So, yeah.
If you have Swirsky, this definitely pushes into meta. I think, in my opinion, it does go in that competitive because then you're bringing 3 radars, which then also come back quicker. So you can make the Orkan meta, but it's just by itself. It's just it's just solid skill ship that the more you put in, the better it'll get. But yeah, I think I agree with you. The Cossack is just better.
Ouais, for me, oui.
Yep.
Pobeda competitive, it's the tier 8 Kaga. Yeah, it's just. But unlike the Kaga, you can actually get the plane fairly easily with this one.
Yeah.
But I like the playstyle. It's really a striker / assassin playstyle. So yeah.
I remember though when it came out, everyone was calling the Pobeda because they thought it was horrible. And then I know a CV main a friend that I have, he just played it and he goes, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm averaging like 90k in it." I'm just like, "Oh dear lord." So
no, the damage potential is really big, and you just have to watch for ships that get set on fire or flooded on the map, and then you pick them up, and then it's 30,000 damage per salvo, no problem. So
Atlantico. Okay, so Prinz Eugen.
Why why would you play that thing? Concretely for me, I mean it's just a more expensive hipper.
Yep.
It's a more expensive hipper. You have to put 12,000 gold on the table, and then you get a ship that has a little bit better AP pen, but you're not going to notice it.
No.
And if you buy that extra camo for 6,000 gold, you get marginally better accuracy. You're not going to notice it as well. What you're going to notice is you just lost one precise aim charge for an AA that's useless. So I wouldn't. It's usable. Huh? It's a heavy cruiser, just camp behind, etc. Push in the end, etc. But
not for the price.
Why would you put some money on the table for it? And I mean, all things considered, 18,000 gold, that's starting to get Buffalo territory. So.
Or get a free Black Admiral Hipper, which is kind of a better version of it. So, yeah. I won't touch it. Let's talk, unfortunately, 2 in a row, for me at least, Pietro Bagration. I'm just going to go right into Dear God, why? What is your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't see the point. As well.
I wish this was I wish it was, but...
The thing is with the tier 8 cruisers, if you think about it, the tier 8 cruisers, the Tech 3 cruisers, tier 7, the premium cruisers are completely eating the Tech 3 cruisers alive. Tier 8, it's the opposite. The Tech 3 cruisers are completely overshadowing the premiums, and Chappie is just one example. All the premiums at tier 8, Chappie is just...
Oh yeah.
It's trash canning them very easily, and it's the same with the other classes, like Cleveland, etc. It's exactly the same. So there's no reason to pay for a cruiser at tier 8. So voilà.
DZP meta though.
DZP. Yes, DZP. Correct. Voilà.
Well, that's exception, not the rule. So that's true.
Right. Yeah.
But I'll handle this one for you again because I know it's a 40k ship. Ragnarok goes in Dear God Why.
Okay, that's good.
Pretty easy. Now let's talk about 2 really good ships. 2 really good ships. Richie.
Richie. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because I think it's one of the ships that suffered a lot with the introduction of the Atlantico. To be honest, it's still an excellent ship, but I love it. I love it with all my heart. But there is an Atlantico on the enemy team. I know I cannot do anything against it. At range, I'm not hurting it. At close range, it's just shitting on me all over the place, and then and wiping my face all over in it. So I would still put it in meta because it's just an excellent ship. But yeah, it's somewhere between the two, to be honest.
So I'm gonna say high competitive because the Borodino exists now, and the Borodino does everything that the Richie could do, but now better. It's just been power corrupt. I think the Richie maybe needs DFAA 2. Or even a rapid reload 1 or something like that. Just something just a little bit more. It doesn't need much and it would be really in good shape because right now it actually does a lot. It's just the Borodino
what I would do is nerf the Atlantico further, and that would make the Richie great again. But honestly, I've tried it. I've tried playing as the Atlantico, different formulas, but nothing worked. There's just nothing I can do against it. It will get within 10 kilometers of me, and it will just punch me in the face. So,
yep. So yeah, it's Richie's been harmed just like Odin, just like so many other ones. Now let's talk about one ship that definitely enjoyed the Atlantico meta.
Yes, unlike the next one, was actually still relevant and even more relevant because of the Atlantico. So this one can shit on it at any range. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Roma was excellent. It wasn't the best at it because I think DZPs were the best to dumpster it because of just fire damage on the Atlantico. But yeah, it's just Roma stays the Roma.
It stays, and the flat firing arc, it feels like cheating.